In January 2016, Delaware's Department of Education announced that the state's high school accountability measure was to be switched from the Smarter Assessment to the SAT. I'd like to examine why the start of 2016 was a perfect policy window for this assessment switch. First, I'd like to examine political events at the time, first and foremost being angry parents who felt that their children faced too much testing and that the testing meant nothing to their children. So these parents organized and voiced their opposition to their local legislators. This public outcry prompted two bills to be introduced in our state. The Student Assessment Inventory, which had the stated goal of reducing unnecessary testing for our students, and the Opt-out Bill, which would give parents the right to exclude their child from the state's annual assessment. While all this was happening, the then Secretary of Education resigned, allowing the governor to appoint a new secretary to help mitigate the public outrage in regards to testing. So to be clear about policy actors, vocal parents, state legislators, and the governor put state testing into the policy arena. But this particular policy of switching the state's accountability measure to the SAT was a mandate directly from Delaware's Department of Education and its Secretary of Education. Now back to this second bill, the opt-out bill, which the governor vetoed, actually presents a huge problem for Delaware. That's because the federal Every Student Succeeds Act requires a 95% participation rate in the state's annual assessment, a participation rate that at the high school level, Delaware did not meet for the first time in 2015. So to be clear, here's the problem. Delaware is at risk for being in non-compliance with the federal Department of Education if it can't get its participation rate up. And now let's talk about the solution. Back in 2010, Delaware won a Race to the Top grant and began offering a school day SAT to all of its state's juniors. Now it's a test the juniors are already taking, which means we could remove a test, the Smarter Assessment, and it's a test that most upper and middle class parents think has value for their child. So the hope politically is that it will make these parents happy, which in its first year of implementation did bring the 11th grade participation rate back above 95%. Why is this shift consequential? First off, the test is not aligned to what is actually being taught in high school classes. And secondly, the test runs contrary to the Common Core math practice standards, which are at the heart of the Common Core. In fact, the first practice standard states the importance for students to make sense of problems and persevere in solving them. Perseverance is hard to demonstrate when you have an average of less than a minute and a half per question. And as schools will be judged on their students' success on the SAT, there is a definite temptation to train students to be fast at math rather than to take their time and really grapple with and understand the mathematics. An additional consequence is that the SAT is viewed as a test for students headed to college, which has created resistance from students who don't plan on going to college and actively don't want to take the SAT, but who were fine with taking the state test in prior years. Of course, these students are disproportionately represented in high-needs high schools, placing additional burdens on those schools. Relatedly, the SAT is only offered on one day with a one-day makeup, unlike prior assessments which had months-long testing windows and could be administered at any time in that window. This again disproportionately affects high-need schools, placing extra burdens on their staff to get high absentee students in school on two particular days to take a test that they actively don't want to take. And this is how schools are now rated, and the evaluations between wealthy and poor schools will continue to grow. Lastly, I wanted to discuss which of Alexander's 8 values underlie this policy. I think clearly that value is efficiency, which is defined by Alexander as the elimination of waste. In this case, wasted money associated with test creation, review, grading, and resource distribution, and waste of time, both for educators and students, in proctoring, preparing for, and taking an additional assessment. Thanks for listening.